In this episode, we will be discussing financial topics, investing, the stock market. As a disclaimer, Joe and I are not financial experts, and the information we provide in this episode is solely for the purpose of entertainment. So, if you are in need of financial assistance and you would like to pursue any of the opportunities that we discuss in this episode, please see a certified financial expert and complete your own due diligence. Thank you. Thanks for listening to the Unscripted Dreams podcast. If you enjoy the show and want more, please join us on Patreon for exclusive episodes and videos. If you're looking for episode clips, please check out our YouTube page at the Unscripted Dreams podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hey. As we know, life is full of surprises, both good and bad, and the day-to-day journey is full of unforeseen obstacles, and sometimes it's hard to see our way through. Beyond the norm and mundane are where unscripted dreams live. Join us for thought-provoking discussions and interviews to help us navigate through the fog and create our own path. We are the Unscripted Dream Podcast, operating outside the margins to motivate and inspire our audience. So today's episode is it's actually going to be a series, but this is part one, and it's investments. And this would be part one, investment, part one, crypto version. And cryptocurrency.
Oh man, I'm not okay. I make it happen, Joe.
So for you people that don't know what cryptocurrency is, and there's different aliases. So you got cryptocurrency, you got crypto, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but really what it is it's a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange where an individual coin ownership records are records are stored in a ledger existing in a form of computerized database using strong cryptography or cryptography, however you want to pronounce that, to secure transaction records, to control the creation of additional coins, and to verify the transfer of coin ownership. So literally it's just currency and everything's just digital. So instead of just having something like you see in front of your face, something that I guess you can say is tangible, is a US dollar bill. Whether it's a C note, $10 bill, 50, $20 bill, whether it's coins, cryptocurrency is strictly digital. And a lot of people perceive it to be the future of our currency, which I say I'm leaning more so towards to believing, just because it doesn't make any sense for us to not to have digital currency at this point. We already use credit cards, we use debit cards, we use different applications to pull funds out of our banks, credit unions, bonds, wherever you got your money stored, wherever it's stored, it's already digital, whether you realize that or not. So it makes sense for cryptocurrency or digital currency to really take reign over something that's physical.
All right, Joe. So I just want all the listeners to know that Joe just threw me a major curveball. He's talking about cryptocurrency. I thought we were going to talk about regular stocks. So, so here I go trying to pull everything out the bag on this one. But cryptocurrency. Okay, so Joe, what I want to do is I want to acknowledge you first for telling me months ago, Joe. If I had time to pull the text up right now, I would pull it up. When you told me last year sometime to download Coinbase, which is a cryptocurrency altcoin marketplace, correct? Yep. Exchange.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Exchange. And you was like, yeah, man, just just go out there, it's just buy something, and that was it. But I wasn't ready, Joe. I wasn't ready. So what I did was I told myself, Joe, next time you talk, I'm gonna pull up when you send me that text. But
Okay.
but I wasn't ready to invest in cryptocurrency because it's new. Well, it's not new, but it's relatively new.
Yeah, it's super new actually, so yeah, you're right.
And I was extra hesitant because I didn't know what it was about. I just saw it everywhere I went. I just see Bitcoin. I would hear the word Ethereum and things, but I had no understanding, no background of what really was going on. I just knew Bitcoin was the top dog. So what I did was I said, I'm not going to invest in something, even though I know Joe will help me out and he'll kind of guide me into purchasing whatever. I said, let me do my due diligence, which is important. When you're in this space, in any investment space. It's important to do your due diligence.
Hmm.
And so I read, what's the name of the book? What's it called? The gold, not the gold standard. It's the gold something. It's the gold. It's gold. It's the gold something. Okay. It's the story about Bitcoin.
Okay.
And as I read, it's gonna bother me if I don't get the right name. So as I read this book, I start to understand the importance and why. Because you just think like, how does this money that has no backing? Why does this have value? Like, why are people even investing in something that doesn't exist? But then when you look at in the United States, you look at our money, it's fiat currency. It's not backed by anything. It literally rolls off the printer. That's really what's happening with it. But that's a conversation for another episode, I guess, kind of. But
Yeah.
the money isn't back. I mean, it's not really backed by anything. So what gives? I think it's called the gold standard. So what made Bitcoin so appealing to people was that it was decentralized, which means when I discuss something that's being decentralized, I mean it's not overseen by a government body.
Right. Like there's no foul play. Like it's the most neutral form of currency that you could get your hands on, so to speak.
Well, there can be foul play. There's definitely foul play.
Oh
There's
yeah,
there's lots of
definitely. I
foul play.
mean, there's computer nerds out there, so of course, anything digital. But but as far as like not being controlled by a government and being dependent upon that, is pretty neutral.
Okay, so the book on Bitcoin is called Digital Gold. All right, so I can move on. I can move on in my mind, but so as I read this book, you really start to understand the importance, like why something like this would have developed into what it is today. And it's if you live in the United States, our money is, I mean, compared to some parts of the world, it's pretty stable. All right, the U.S. dollar is it's the currency of it's the standard for the world. So our money is perceived as stable. So in other countries, if you look at maybe in Argentina or some other countries, the inflation rate. And I talked about inflation in another episode. I just talked about it being FBI's most wanted. It's probably world's most wanted. But the inflation, there's a story in this book where the guy talks about where there's these like Bitcoin vendors, and it's starting up. It's really starting up at this point. So this is I don't know when Satoshi wrote the paper. Satoshi is the guy who sent out the first. He created. I mean, we don't know who Satoshi is, honestly, but this is the creator of Bitcoin. But there was a person. I guess they found this person. There was a person on the street, and they were like pitching Bitcoin to be an alternative form of currency. And this gentleman, I guess, who had worked all his life, he saw in this, I think it was Argentina or it was a country in South America, and he kind of explained that he's seen his money over time in all his years. He's seen his money turn to nothing. He's seen, he's gotten paid, and that money through inflation turned to nothing. There's another story where they talk about a family who, as soon as they got paid, the guy said his mother, as soon as she got paid, they would run to the grocery store and get as much food as they could, because that money, the inflation rate was so significant, it was so fast that if they held that money, if they held that money, the next probably the next within the next few hours or the next day, it would be a fraction of its value. So money in some places of the world, believe it or not, is folks are having some problems. And cryptocurrency or Bitcoin could provide a solution, because there's one of the big things with the money is that since it's not backed, it used to be backed by the gold standard, but that is not the case anymore. If you understand the true meaning of a fiat currency, it's just it's just money that's not really backed by anything. So in other parts of the world, this idea of a currency, and the thing about Bitcoin is that if I'm just talking about Bitcoin, because I don't think you can do any kind of intro to cryptocurrency without discussing Bitcoin first. So the thing about Bitcoin is that it's finite. There will be a fixed number of coins that will be produced, and that's mining. I don't, Joe, you might be able to explain that better than me in the time that we have allotted, but it's fixed. It's finite. So you cannot just make more Bitcoin once that allotment number is met. But Joe, I'll let you elaborate or transition to something else.
I was gonna say the way that Bitcoin is built, it was built with a limited capacity, so there's not additional Bitcoins you can add. So this is kind of what makes it even more exclusive, or it makes the value higher, because there's a limited amount out there, which is important to know. We can transition, because I don't, for beginners, I don't want to confuse them or anything, but I really do want you guys, like I told Marcus months ago, that you guys should definitely download application on your phone, whether it's Coinbase, Crypto.com, KuCoin. KuCoin is spelled KuCoin. I don't expect anybody that's a beginner to really dabble in that, unless you really do your research. But definitely get Coinbase, because it's pretty much like a beginner's application, and it's just very convenient to use. And pretty much what it is if you have like an application like Fidelity, correct me if I'm wrong, is it SoFi or Sophie or something like that?
SoFi?
Yeah, SoFi, and then you got e-traders. So if you get like one of those applications, that's literally what Coinbase is. Like, you're just buying, ideally, if you're comparing it to like the stock market, that's like the cryptocurrency version of the stock market. If you got Coinbase, you'll see a decent amount of coins listed on there. Not all the coins will be listed on there, but it'll definitely get you where you need to go for starters. And you just want to go in there and just kind of like mix and dabble. They even give you an idea of what these specific coins do and what are their purposes. Some of their purposes might be for like gaming, like PC gaming, video gaming. There's even gimmicks out there, which I don't recommend to invest in, but people that made thousands of dollars off of just jokes of cryptocurrency. That's literally how new this market is, where people are still trying to navigate and figure out what's what. But there's a lot of pieces that are pretty legit out there too. If I can give you a recommendation after actually downloading Coinbase and actually putting your money towards something which I can guarantee you will grow, since it's so new, I would definitely recommend that if you're already on like social media platforms such as like Twitter, Instagram, whether you're on like forums like Reddit, or even on YouTube. YouTube, you're usually catching a wave kind of late, just because someone makes a video and then it blows up, and then it kind of just gets debunked, or people blow it out of proportion. I would highly recommend that you would use like applications such as Twitter, because it's a live feed. And on top of that, you can tell if somebody's pulling your leg or not, just because, if you go on Twitter and you look at profile pages and you click on people's pages, you'll know if it's a legit page or not. So it's just one of those things where, like, if you want to fact check, that would be like one of the better, safer apps to use. But if you got questions about these different cryptocurrencies on your Coinbase that you're looking at, that you're interested in investing in, and you're seeing like their value going up consistently, I would highly recommend that you'll type that information in the search bar on like one of these social media apps and see what comes up. People will give you some tips. You might find some trends. You might even find somebody that actually takes pride in walking you through it step by step. I done found several people that get on their Instagram live, that get on Twitter, that get on Facebook, they'll even get on YouTube. And they would report religiously, like every few days or so, and give you an idea of what's going on with this particular cryptocurrency. Of course, they have to throw a disclaimer out there because at the end of the day, we don't know. It's just like the stock market. It can go all the way up or it can shoot down the next day. We don't know. But they can give you some valuable knowledge of the reason why you would be interested in investing in something like that. And you know, we did an episode on this just to like pretty much put heavy importance on like how this is a good way of you having your money make money for yourself. Like if you got spare money, don't spend it on bull crap. You know, if you really want to double your money and you're looking for like a safe bet or a calculated bet, I would definitely advise you to invest in yourself by using cryptocurrency because it's the hottest thing out there.
So, Joe, that was all good what you just said. But this cryptocurrency, these coins,
Yeah.
this stuff is volatile. Like it is highly volatile. And all right, so Joe, let me give Joe some credit.
But yeah, before you go there, let me make a comparison, okay? The way I look at cryptocurrency, okay? For your nerdy gamers out there that are younger, this is almost like equivalent to like you discovering Pokemon for the first time. If we can go even deeper, this is just like you actually experiencing the internet developing from dial-up to broadband to where it's at now, where you're using fiber optics and whatnot. Like, this is literally what cryptocurrency is developing into. And this is the reason why it's important for us to share this, because we're trying to share our knowledge so you can be wealthy too.
You're right. You're right, Joe. You can tell that I know you can see the caution, like the caution in my face right now. But so Joe told me to his credit, we had a discussion back in November of last year. We were talking about crypto. I think I was more focused on getting back into the stock market. Joe sent me a text on November 22nd, 2020. A link to Coinbase and the referral thing where they give you money and all that other stuff. He's like, yeah, man, just do it. Just do it, man. Just get in there. And I looked at that. I said, all right, I gotta do my due diligence before I get in there. As much as I trust Joe, as much as I trust him, I don't trust myself. So I had to make sure that I was at least on my end prepared. So I started, I said I read the book, the Bitcoin book. They're going to make a movie out of these. They're definitely going to make a movie out of the Bitcoin story. And I don't know how they'll do set up Satoshi. It'll probably be just a dark figure, a shadow in the room or something. And I don't know how they'll set up the Ethereum founder. What's his name, Joe?
To be honest with you, I do not remember.
I'm going to butcher it. I know kind of what it sounds like, but I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not going to do it. But they're going to make a movie. They're going to make a movie out of it because some of the stuff that's happened. I think there was a hit put out on somebody. Like it was definitely it's been a ride. But the thing about crypto, what's important is just to have a fundamental understanding of why it's becoming it's encroaching on the mainstream conscious, and while you're seeing like a Goldman Sachs, or you're seeing Visa and MasterCard, PayPal, Tesla, you're seeing them do these things where they're adopting it. Today is April 1st. Okay, yep. It's April Fool's Day, but Chipotle,
this ain't a joke.
Chipotle is they are doing a Bitcoin giveaway at Chipotle. they're giving away 1,000 Bitcoin. They're separating it. They're spreading it out. You're not gonna get a full Bitcoin, but they're separating it out because they understand the value in it, and they understand that it's up on us, and this is the entry level, and this is what you were talking about, Joe, is the opportunity. It's an opportunity, but let me get back to the due diligence part before it gets away from me. The reason why it's important to do your due diligence and to really have an understanding, which is why I didn't buy any cryptocurrency, any altcoins back in. Oh, for altcoins, when I'm talking about altcoins are essentially, Joe, or let me know if this is right. Altcoins are anything that's not really Bitcoin or Ethereum. Pretty much is what they.
Pretty much, it's like a supportive coin, or it might be dependent upon one of the major coins
that runs on Ethereum. Pretty much Ethereum.
Ethereum. So Ethereum, just to give you a quick tip here especially for beginners, because we try and keep this a beginner episode, not like descriptive. So the people that are experienced out there, don't get mad at us. We're trying to bring people on board that have no clue of what's going on. So basically, with the altcoins, from my understanding, is they're almost like supportive coins. They're dependent on the bigger ones. And, there's some coins that I would invest in, like I believe Litecoin's one. And, I would use that coin because it correlates with the bigger coins. And a lot of people would mess with the alternate coins because you can make more money off of them short term if you're comparable like a day trader in stock. Like if you are really like aggressive in trading and stuff like that, you would really want to mix and dabble with the altcoins because the percentages of their profiting goes higher than something that's bigger, if you understand the mathematics of it. But typically they correlate with the bigger coins and they move with them. So that's why you would want to invest in some of the altcoins as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Joe. I would have butchered that explanation. So I'm glad I'm glad you provided that. So when I'm it's like preaching about this due diligence, because it is important, because the FOMO sets in. You start to do your research and the FOMO might set in, and you'll do some things haphazardly, and you'll just invest in something and you have no idea the fundamentals of the project. You don't really know what it's about, and you don't.
I'm guilty of that, by the way.
Yeah, and that's when you get in early, because the opportunity for earnings is substantial. It's life changing. It's really life. It's honestly life changing because of how some of these things shoot up. But it's right now we're in a bull market. If you're not familiar with what the bull market is, it's when people are buying aggressively. Pretty much. So crypto is we're in a bull market right now, and you have to be careful. You have to be careful because a lot of these things, and Joe and I we were discussing this before we recorded, is that when people fail to do their due diligence, you get on YouTube, you see a lot of the YouTubers doing things, or you get on Twitter, which I think it's true that crypto news breaks on Twitter first. I think that's true. Joe, would you agree? That it really...
I'm sure there's some things like black market wise that, if you're really connected or you're really nerdy like that, but Twitter probably would be like one of the most recent things to really figure out what's going on, especially if you don't have the technology to look at it. Sure. So say you might be looking at something and you might have the technology, but you can't look at all the different cryptocurrencies because there's so many of them. Somebody might break news before you can even get to it. So yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. So the reason I'm on this due diligence track is because there's so much out there. There's so many coins. There's so many different types of cryptocurrency. I don't know what the number of projects is, but it might be in the thousands.
Oh, easy.
It's definitely in the thousands. So it's something that I think we have to be very cautious of, and we have to educate ourselves before we get into those markets. And that's why it's important. I mean, you might have to talk to an advisor about it before you get into it if you're not comfortable and you don't want to take on those levels, some of the levels of risk that are associated with it. But go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, and that's the reason why you can't blame banks for not investing right away, or bigger companies to invest right away. Just like we're taking a shot on it, they're taking a shot on it as well. But it's one of those things where, like, if the money's transitioning out of the stock market and it's going elsewhere, where do you think those big corporations gonna go? They're gonna follow wherever the money's being spent.
Follow the money. Yeah, and I think that it's important to understand it. Like I said, Goldman Sachs, MasterCard, Visa, Fidelity. I think
I think PayPal too, right?
PayPal's accepting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin.
Those are the major ones. Those are the ones I have the most money in.
So that's important to know, because it's gonna stop. It's going to invade the public consciousness. It might crash. I mean, as anything might crash. I mean, it always crashes. But it's important. I think, like I said, those books are, so the two books I read were, what did I say? Digital Gold. That was a story about Bitcoin, and the other book was the Infinite Machine, which is more about Ethereum. So Bitcoin is the big dog. Ethereum is
second in command,
the little brother or the little sister, or Bitcoin's
however you look at it.
Whatever. So
actually, I think Ethereum may have potential to be bigger than Bitcoin. It's just that Bitcoin's been around longer, so
yeah, it's a greater store of value than anything else. So what's unique about cryptocurrency, after I read the books and I did all my research, is it is a unique opportunity. There's risk. There's all kinds of risk in life. There's a risk of walking out of your house in the morning or wherever you live. There's a risk of getting in your car and getting on the road with other people. There's a risk of walking up and down the stairs. There's a risk of getting in the shower. You might fall. So there's risks associated with everything.
Wait a minute, that's the only risk I heard, man, was
Which
you actually falling. The other risk that you mentioned, that didn't seem like danger.
What? Leaving your house, you don't know what's gonna happen. You walk outside.
The only danger I heard was falling in the shower.
Oh, no, man, there's risk. There's risk everywhere. So this is a unique opportunity for people to get in on the ground floor of something. It was, if you look back, I mean, I guess it's kind of comparable to the web, like 1.0 web, like AOL, Internet
the good old days.
Yeah, like
AIM, MSN.
Yeah, AOL, all that stuff, like when the internet
Net0
first started. Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, that stuff when it used to make that crunch, like that crunchy computer sound. Yeah, that. So, I mean, that's where we are now. Because when we were back then, when that stuff was emerging, people looked at it in the sense that, well, why would anybody want to shop online? Why would anybody want to use the computer when they can go shopping? It was that foreign to people that it wasn't received well. But now you see how things have, how things have grown, and now you have, all these companies that have exploded. Microsoft, I mean,
short amount
Yahoo,
of time too.
Google, all these things have emerged in the past 15 years.
Yeah, very short amount.
Not 15 years,
maybe less.
20,
about 10.
No, 20, probably 20.
Well, 20 as far as, yeah.
Like
as far as like you actually
mainstream.
being able to buy stuff and stuff is like 10. But as far as like mainstream and getting everything from the store and what they offer, about 15, 20.
Well, so it's really, this is, I would say, an opportunity for you to get into. This is, I mean, some people would say it's once in a lifetime opportunity to get in the ground floor of something that is, being established,
brand spanking new.
Because we don't know.
It's neutral. It's neutral. Like, it's not neutral, but it's neutral. Like, it's the most advantage, or your odds are in your favor at this point. Like, it's in your favor versus a corporation that can just buy you out or take over what you're doing. And they can't really establish dominance like that. They can try, but I mean, there's so much out there right now and it's so new. They don't even know. So that's what makes this interesting.
Yep. Because most opportunities in the stock market, most of the opportunities, or just in life, or they're usually always presented to at this level when there's an opportunity to invest in something, not like an opportunity to start your own business or get in shape, or I mean, if you know what I'm talking about.
Matter of fact, I think that's the reason why there are some crazy different like stock levels that are picking up, like the whole like GameStop experience and whatnot, and some other stuff. Not only because of COVID was a big deal as far as like the stock market and capitalizing off of it for sure. I'm not discounting or discrediting that, but the fact that you have the crypto thing going on, I feel like that's what makes it more room for things to happen in the stock market like that, for things to just shoot up overnight, just because there's just so much going on right now.
Yeah, COVID was an accelerant.
Oh yeah,
definitely an accelerant. But like I said, I think it's a unique opportunity for someone who doesn't have a lot to invest in something on the ground floor and really maybe do something that, I mean, it could be life changing in some sense, depending on when you get in. But I think to really capitalize on it, it's important that you do your own due diligence. You do your own research.
Yes.
If you have a good friend that sends you a link,
Marcus,
and they tell you need to invest, you can be like, hey, I'm going to get back to you. I appreciate it. Because I'll be honest, if it wasn't for Joe, like talking about it and telling me about it and really getting it, like he put it in my conscience to really start like taking things seriously. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got into cryptocurrency probably until I was.
It was too late.
Yeah, it would be
well,
too
maybe
late.
not too
well,
late.
It's not too late, but think about all the things I had to do before I invested.
Right, you would have potentially missed out on thousands. Let me put things in perspective. Yeah, let me put things in perspective for you. If you think about the time where COVID started, so around March, April of 2020, right, where it like really became the thick of it, right? Cryptocurrency, I believe Ethereum was about $400 at that time. I can't really tell you what Bitcoin was at, but Bitcoin was nowhere near what it is now.
I'm gonna pull it up.
So if we fast forward to 2021 and it's April 1st, right? Bitcoin's almost $60,000 right now. Ethereum right now is almost, well, it's been fluctuating between about 1,500 and $2,000. Exactly a year ago, you could buy Ethereum for about $300 to $400.
Yeah.
And that's where I felt stupid, because I had that inner thing inside of me. You know how you got like an angel on one side and a devil on the one side? Well, the devil was telling me like, hey, fool, you need to pay $400, $300 to buy this. That was one of those instances where I probably should have listened to the devil, because look where my money would have been at today. So I'm not condoning that. I'm not a devil worshiper by any means. But what I'm saying is the best of me paid my money down on something that was legit and something that I really needed to pay for, as far as like, liabilities. But realistically, if I would have put money down at that point in time, which I was thinking about buying a couple of coins, I would have been up by a couple $1,000s easy. So that's what I mean by this is something that you can quickly like get in and get out. I wouldn't recommend getting out just because it's still going up. But even if that was your whole idea where you just don't trust it and you're like, oh, well, I'm up a couple hundred or a couple thousand, you can get out. So, for me investing a whole year ago till now, because I really didn't put as much money as I should have, or not nearly as close as I did exactly 12 months ago. My money's sitting pretty compared to how much I really invested. So that's why it's very important for people to kind of like do this. Like, it's not an overnight thing by any means necessary, but it's all about doing your research and finding out what's on the move, what's popular, what's hot, what's not. It's no different than you like listening to music. Who's the hottest artist out? What are they talking about? Why people love this person? Is this person in movies? Is this person on TV? Is this person in the community doing activist type things? Like, this person just is great and they're just in front of everything. Like, that's how you got to get in front of this to realize like this whole movement is real. And if you really want to really make a good investment off of things, you have to be that active into it. And I imagine you would be, just because instead of spending your money on late nights, having fun with friends or whatnot, and risking your health out there in the streets if you're not vaccinated, you could really be putting this money towards something that might be very fruitful in the future. Who knows? You could easily invest about $1,000 into something, right? And then for all we know, you could be about 100 grand up years later. So, this is the type of stuff we're trying to tell you. Like, we're not fortune tellers. We're not the oracle. But we're really just trying to like let you know, like, hey, if you really care about your future and you want something to look forward to, this is the things that you have to do. You got to apply yourself and look into these type of things. Not everybody can, recoup millions of dollars overnight. Life doesn't work that way. So this is probably one of the closest ways to make that happen, man.
Just research the opportunity. Research the opportunity. Do your due diligence. Okay, so last year, today's April 1st, we're recording this. April 7th, 2020, Bitcoin was $6,954.
And it's almost 60K right now?
Yep, so what is that? Math, Joe. 10x, almost 10x. Well, 9x. Okay. It's like 9x.
It doesn't matter, bro. At that point, like anything times 5 and greater.
Yeah. So
exponentially.
Bitcoin's different though. Man. Bitcoin is different. Don't think that's gonna happen to these other things. But I'm just saying that if you go back to October,
it's not too late. Bitcoin's going to 100,000.
Right. Let me tell you.
I swear by that one.
Let's. I want to give a number when Bitcoin was 10 cent. Let's see if I can slot this.
10 cent.
Slot this. Okay, Bitcoin was around 10 cent on April 7th, 2011. So anybody at that time who bought, if you just like, hey, let me give it a shot. I'm just gonna buy 1,000 Bitcoin. Like, you're a millionaire. All right. So the one thing that shows is that it's important in any of these investment things is just you have to hold. And you have to understand. Like, if you were, back in high school when I was working at CVS making probably not that much over minimum wage, if anything, if I would have took one of my struggle paychecks in high school, instead of buying those S. Carters, those Jay-Z shoes that I bought, thinking I was somebody special. I was a bum. It's a bum in high school, but think if I had took one check, if I even had it in my awareness that was going on, if I had took that whole check and just bought some Bitcoin, if I was even in the space where I was looking for opportunities and I had the capacity to hold something and see what happens, which is one of the driving forces in any investment, is you have to give it time. You have to give it time. If I would have just held it,
it's a game of patience.
Yeah, if I would have just held it, I've been all set. If I just had some patience, and I actually believe. Sometimes you have to believe in these projects too. If you invest in them, you have to, unless you're like flipping. I won't get into that, but if you're doing your research, if you see a project and you can see the real world applications of this stuff, and you can get to the point to where you understand the importance of cryptocurrency, you understand the importance of blockchain technology, which is something else that we are not going to talk about in this episode, but definitely,
But seriously, look into it.
But do your research, take some time. I know your favorite TV shows coming on. What's one of the popular TV shows now, Joe? I don't even watch TV. What's one of the popular shows?
I'm not your traditional TV watcher, but I love Snowfall.
I don't even know what that is. But whatever your show, whatever your go-to show is, whatever it is, that thing that you do that you're doing for leisure, take that time and just start to do some research and see if it is an opportunity for you, and go from there. Ask questions. Reach out, but there's so much information out there. There's bad information out there too. There's bad coins out there too, but you have to equip yourself with the knowledge, or you have to Find people who have the knowledge that you don't have so you can gain perspective on what you want to do and how you want to approach it. Because not every opportunity is for everybody.
Perfect example for bad coins, Dogecoin. I use Dogecoin and I only put 165 shares in that. Don't put your money in that, please. Don't do it. I only did it just because I was just like, you know what? Just in case. It's like one of those probability things that you know ain't gonna shake, but you can afford to trick off some dollars on that. So don't put your life savings into something like that. And specifically, if you look at the description of it, it literally says that it was a joke. So don't do that. Don't listen to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is, don't get me wrong, he's a genius. For people that don't know who Elon Musk is, he is the representative of Tesla. Theoretically, or however you look at it, he is Tesla. And so pretty much don't listen to him because he'll definitely steer you wrong. And I would hate for you to burn your money up just because he likes to throw gimmicks out there. So don't do that.
Yeah, Dogecoin is 0.06 cent right now. Let me do some quick math. Bear with me for 10 minutes. I mean, not 10 minutes, 10 seconds.
But if it gets to $1 though, I'll be happy.
What is that?
The trials.
I'm doing bad.
The
math.
Trials and tribulations.
I'm doing bad math right now. Look, just put 10 on it and see what happens. All right, just give it 10 and see what happens. All right, if it blows up, give Dogecoin 10 years and we'll see what happens to it. But I mean, it's a joke.
Don't do it.
The coin has no functionality. I mean, it was a joke. It has no functionality. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't have any real world purpose. But
some of these coins, or a lot of these coins do. Like a lot of these coins are very beneficial to the future of technology and how things are working. So I would recommend that you would get on Apple Podcasts. You would get on Spotify Podcasts, any podcast regarding cryptocurrency. So you can expand your knowledge and people can actually break down in way more detail than Marcus and myself can, because these people are normally involved, like, you know, as part of their occupation, and they can give you a great description or grave detail on what's going on.
Yeah, grab your notebook. If you're listening, grab your notebook, grab whatever you write on, napkin, whatever, and let me get these. I'm gonna break some stuff down for you real quick. I'm gonna give all the podcasts, all the YouTube things that I subscribe to, websites, CoinDesk. You can subscribe to a newsletter. They have different newsletters depending on what you want to see. That is CoinDesk. If you're on YouTube and you are that's how you learn. You learn through the visual media. Yeah. I recommend Coin Bureau, JRNY Crypto, Benjamin Cohen, that's COWEN, and Digital Asset News. These are all, in my opinion, solid YouTube creators that provide some objective. It's entertaining. Coin Bureau is pretty entertaining in my opinion, but it's knowledgeable. These are all videos that I would send to somebody else. I won't send you the nonsense. I never send the nonsense. All right. So, and if you're just trying to get in a chat room, trying to see what the community might be for any type of particular cryptocurrency altcoin, go on Reddit. You go on Twitter too. If you're on Twitter, you can see if they have a Twitter profile or they have a Reddit community. That'll give you a good idea of if there's even people backing the project at all. And the last thing, I just want to get some podcasts that I listen to. Get my list here.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. We have, now this is on Spotify that I'm pulling these up, so I don't know if they'll be on wherever you listen to other podcasts.
Hold on, pause. Cheat code. You can get a hold of any podcast on any platform if you download an application called Podcast Addict. It's a real cheat code. I didn't have to use certain subscriptions or anything to other platforms. If you use Podcast Addict, you can pretty much find any podcast, even ours.
Great. Yes, definitely. Our podcast. That's important. That's maybe the most important podcast on this list. but for a podcast for crypto news, we have crypto news alerts. I have the breakdown with, what is this gentleman's name? This gentleman's name is Nathaniel Whitmore. That is the breakdown that is offered through CoinDesk. Earn Your Leisure. My brother put me on this podcast, but they talk about crypto sometimes as well. So that might be a good one to check into. The next podcast is CoinDesk Money Reimagined. They go into some of the macro components of crypto. The breakdown with Nathaniel Whitmore also goes into the macro breakdown as well. And what's important about getting the macro breakdown is that they give you a good idea of the large scale applications of cryptocurrency. It'll give you a unique perspective on how to see, how cryptocurrency, the potentials of the currency, and how it can be used to solve some of our problems. And I believe for crypto, that is it. I mean, I just provided a ton of resources. I hope you wrote these down. This will definitely assist you on your way of getting, some knowledge. And there's also some podcasts out there for beginners. There are some cryptocurrency for beginners podcasts. So if you search those, you might be able to find something that might be able to give you a great breakdown so you can get an understanding of it. This will be the last thing. I'm gonna close on this. Is that we definitely went over time on this episode. If you listen to this show normally, we always try to stay within a 30-minute window, give or take. But I think that the fact that we decided to just, make this, it's almost an hour-long episode, pretty much just really, I think, displays how big of an opportunity I think we think this is. But also, we spent a lot of time talking about being cautious and educating yourself in knowing what you are getting yourself into and the importance of finding financial experts, because we are not financial experts. So it is important to find people that you trust who are certified that will assist you in making decisions with your investments. And because every opportunity, I always say every opportunity isn't, every opportunity isn't for everybody. This might not be for everybody, but it might be for some people after you consult with the proper parties. So I'll close on that. And I'll hand it off to you, Joe.
Just like Marcus said, man, this is based off of our mission statement that we say at the beginning of every episode, which is discussions to help navigate through the fog and create our own path. We wouldn't be true to ourselves and what we represent on this platform if we didn't tell you the real, as far as according to our perspective. This is something that's evident. You hear more and more people talk about it, whether it's positive or negative. I don't care if it's information that's negative, mostly negative or mostly positive. There's some type of buzzworthy about it where you need to do your research. So either way, I think you should see it for what it really is. If I just told you I made money, obviously there's some gains there as far as our opportunity for you to do the same, if not more. I'm not an aggressive investor, but I do enough to, I guess, tickle my fancy, so to speak. But that's neither here nor there. This is part of our platform. It's about investing, and this is part one with cryptocurrency. And I think this is something that people need to be ahead of. The more knowledge you know now, just imagine how much you will know a year later. You might be on it so quick, and you might understand how certain coins will correlate to the bigger coins. Like I said, with the altcoins correlations, and then you got the Bitcoins and the Ethereum, which are kind of like the head honchos right now at this point. For all you know, there might be some other ones that may take off here in the future here. So just think about that. I think it's just very important for you to invest in something where I feel like you get your money back. You know, this isn't like the casino. I don't think you're going to lose your money because you can put alerts on these things and they'll let you know after a certain point if you're about to lose your dollars or something. There's applications for that. So you can definitely put a hold on in front of that if you catch a notification on your phone, computer, tablet, whatever. So it's no different than the stock market. If you put money into that and you're just like, oh, hold on, I ain't trying to lose no money. I'm going to put an alert down to let me know when it's going down. Same difference. So I don't see why you wouldn't invest into something where you can even make maybe a couple of dollars. You might even make hundreds, thousands, you know, you just never know. So why not put your money into that versus going to the casino, playing on the blackjack table, playing Russian roulette, playing slots, even going on FanDuel or DraftKings with sports betting, or just even being around the way on the streets in person, you know, or even going to like some extracurricular entertainment event, not only risking your health. I'm going to reiterate that, but you know, you're just tricking your dollars on whatever is in front of you. Like, why not would you try to make some money on the side? So, you know, we just trying to make sure that you better yourself as much as possible. That's our platform, and that's what that's our mission statement. So I think that's the end of the episode, and I appreciate you guys for listening this long, and I hope you guys pay it forward by actually doing some research.
Absolutely. I got one more thing to say, Joe. No, I thought I was done, but we were talking. Joe and I were having a discussion about some stuff. Joe was working on something. He sent me something I didn't. I told him I was lost in the sauce, man. I was doing stuff. I dropped the ball on it. I told him, I said, Joe, man, just tell me to do it. I said, just send me a text and tell me to do it next time, and I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use this as that Joe told me back in November, he was trying to encourage me to do something, but I needed somebody to tell me just, like if he would have sent me that, he said, Marcus, just do the research you need to do as soon as possible. Just do it right now and get your money in. Right now, I guarantee you I had the bag. I probably had a couple bags right now if I would have did when Joe sent me that. If he would have told me, knowing me, if he would have sent me that link and he would have said, Marcus, do the stuff you need to do to be ready to invest. If I would have did that, I would have at least 2 bags right now, guaranteed, if I would have done that. So what I'm trying to stress is that when somebody that, I'm not saying if you listen to us and you trust us and stuff like that, I'm just saying that if you're looking at somebody who always is giving you something and they're sending you something in their best interest, and they're sending you something because they believe in there's an opportunity that will benefit you, that you have a responsibility, if that is coming from somebody that has proven to be reliable, someone that you know is in your corner, I think you have a responsibility to do your research, look into it, and make a decision on what you want to do. Because I send stuff out to people, and I'm sending it out because I think it's pertinent information, and I think it's something that is going to push somebody forward. I usually don't send out a lot of nonsense. I usually don't. Sometimes, I mean, I send stuff out from time to time for a laugh or two, but you know, that's something that we're really trying to stress. And like I just said, the fact that we have spent an hour talking about this, in which none of our episodes are an hour. None of them are an hour. So just keep that in mind. And at the least,
it's not too late. This is the beginning.
So just take the time, do the research, get with your financial people, get with your financial professionals, see what kind of risk you can tolerate, whatever they tell you to do, because they are the professionals, whatever they decide to do. I mean, that's how you move forward. But it is an opportunity, in my opinion. I think it's a life-changing opportunity. And I think we have a responsibility to use our ability to use foresight, see potential, understand risk, understand opportunity, and know that everything could crash tomorrow. The whole thing could crash tomorrow. The regular stock market could crash tomorrow. But your job, you can also get fired tomorrow when you walk in there.
Exactly. So, we're trying to give you opportunity to make revenue outside of just your day-to-day job. So you just look at it that way. We're trying to expand the streams of revenue that you can receive.
All right, but hey, take care. Be safe as usual. Peace.
Appreciate y'all, man. Later.
Gapstone